Welcome back everybody to another video. In this video, Kia Rio, and we're doing an oil pan gasket. This thing's leaking a little bit, so we're gonna go through step by step, show you how to save some money. You should be able to do this on the garage floor with some jacks. Yeah, like, share, subscribe, and all that stuff. Let's get into it. First thing we're gonna need to do is pop the hood and jack up the car. To drain the engine oil, there's a plug on the oil pan, and it's a 17 millimeter, and we're just gonna lefty-loosey this out and drain all the oil into a bin. Grab your filter tool. The oil filter's right up here on the top. Grab it on the end, squeeze real good, and then lefty-loosey this thing off, like so. To get the oil pan off, we got to do a bunch of stuff. So you come back here first, 16 millimeter wrench, and then get this off. I'm going to put these back on with anti-seize because they're super rusted. So that is what it is. Those are both 16 millimeter. On the front, you have 17 millimeter where it's kind of loose though. So I don't know if it's a rusted 16. I smashed on a 6-point impact socket to get this one loose. So, and the 17 got this one loose. So it's a 16 or a 17, depending on how much rust you got. So you're gonna pull those nuts all the way off. Then we have an oxygen sensor. So this oxygen sensor needs to come out. So just use a standard oxygen sensor tool and break that loose, like so. And then the clip is a standard little push clip. So it just has a little push piece there, and you pull it. The clip is right there. It's pretty much right. Try to come down. So it's like right straight through here. So I reached my hand in on this side of the exhaust, unclipped it, and then we'll pull that oxygen sensor out, put it on the bench so it doesn't get damaged. We need to remove these hangers from this downpipe area because we have to totally take it apart, and we have to clear these studs and clear these studs, and this is attached so you can't get the downpipe out without taking them off. So spray some PB Blaster on both sides, so double both sides. Okay, and I'm missing totally. Just make sure it's nice and lubed. And now we're gonna grab a big pry bar. We're gonna jam it in here and pry it off of the top black one. This bottom one has too big of a lip, so you're gonna be fighting too hard with that. I'm pretty sure those are meant to stay on there. And you're supposed to, when you're pulling this out, undo the top one. So that's what I'm gonna do. Grab a massive pry bar. So here's the massive pry bar. I'm gonna grab it here and just like that, and then rotate it out of the way, probably like that, inwards, so now it's not going to get hooked on anything. Do the same thing on this side. There's a heat shield here taking up a bunch of extra space, so we're going to remove it temporarily. You got a 12 millimeter here, a 12 here, and a 12 here. Remove all three of these. So this was pretty easy. I just grabbed it here, pushed it back, push this one forward, then this is all moving, and now that is free. And at this point I should just be able to use one hand, remove it like so, and then feed it back here. So just unbolting it and allowing it to slide down was enough room for me to get the pipe out. So I'm not even going to remove the shield itself. So now we're going to get to removing all these 10 millimeter bolts and these 3 14 millimeter bolts. We also have 2 10 millimeter bolts here. These look like long ones that go through. Grab a 1/4 inch ratchet with some extensions and a wobbly and a 10 mil. That will allow you to get to all these, because some of these have just really weird access. All right, so you got this one over here. Everything else is pretty much straight. So that was a little stressful. I was scared because this thing's aluminum. I didn't want to break it. So there's a little tab there, a little tab there. You have them on all the sides. You got another one there. You don't have one on this corner. So I tapped my pry bar in there a little bit, and then I took a little baby screwdriver and sort of pried in here, and all the while I'm sort of hitting it with a dead blow hammer like this, just in case you don't have one. It's just a rubber mallet. I use that so I wouldn't put too much pressure on the aluminum and crack it or break it. Leave one screw in to catch it so it doesn't fall on the ground. Now that it's detached all the way around, I'm going to pull this bolt out and put the oil pan in here upside down so it can drain, and have another drain pan underneath the engine to catch anything that drips from the crankcase. Take a part scraper like this, put a new blade on it, and then you're going to clean all the old RTV off the block. There's quite a bit, so you need to make sure this is nice and clean, and make sure that you don't accidentally get any of that stuff inside the engine, which hopefully gravity helps you out with that. But just double check, make sure you're not leaving a piece of loose crap inside the crankcase that can get sucked up and cause damage. After using a razor to get the big chunks off, you can use a wire wheel, you can use green Scotch-Brite, whatever. Just make sure the mating surface is 100% clean, and then you're going to wipe it down multiple times with brake cleaner and a rag. See all this gunk in the threads? We're going to use a wire wheel. We're going to grab this with a pair of vice grips on the head, and we're going to wire wheel it and make it look all shiny and pretty. We're going to do that to all the bolts. Once you use a wire brush, they should be all nice and shiny, nothing in the threads. Now it's time to take this oil pan outside, clean it all up. We need brake cleaner and a wire wheel. We'll get all this RTV off and spray out all this gunky oil and this buildup over here with some brake cleaner and a rag. And just wire wheel all this stuff, make it look shiny, brand new. This thing's been sitting and dripping overnight. Now I'm gonna take a rag, spray brake cleaner on it, wipe off the mating surface, and get this thing put back together. Grab the oil pan, clean it out as much as possible, get all the RTV out of these grooves. Okay, use a wire wheel, brake cleaner, and just get it all spotless. So I'm gonna grab the gasket, and the gasket also comes with RTV, and I'll show you how to use it. The gasket is a Felpro 30780. Gasket has blue tack stuff on one side and not on the other, but I'm going to add the RTV it came with on both sides. So it comes with Felpro gray RTV. So I'm going to coat this super thin with my finger, set the gasket on, and then do the top. There's that thin layer. Now I'm going to grab this gasket, slide it on, push it down a little bit, let it get stuck to the RTV, and then now I'm going to put a thin layer on the top. As you can see here, it's a super thin layer. Can't even really tell it's there. It's just there to fill in cracks. So now we can install this onto the engine. Get all the 10mm bolts in flush first. This one over here you have to have spider fingers for, so that one's not fun, but everything else you can get to pretty easily. Now that all the 10 mils are torqued down, we're gonna get those 3 larger bolts, install them in here, tighten those guys down. Those 3 bolts are now in. I'm going to let this sit for 2 hours before I try to finish cleaning anything, because I don't want to brake cleaner and wet RTV don't mix very well. Everything's nice and tight, so at this point, I'm just going to put the exhaust and O2 sensor back and then fill it up with some oil. Hopefully this video helped you out. Hopefully I saved you money. Hopefully you can do it yourself. And hopefully I didn't sound retarded in this video. If you like the video, hit like, share, subscribe. Help me out with this algorithm. Put a comment down below that just says blah, 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 and hit enter. Doesn't have to say anything. You can just put W, you can put F, whatever. If you think I'm a failure, put a F. F in chat, okay? Anyways, till next time, wrench on.